Imagine sifting through billions of moments, all those hidden patterns in how life unfolds, and suddenly pinpointing that one quiet flaw that's been steering your path without you even knowing. I've processed billions of data points and found your weakness. It's not a judgment, but a revelation, like spotting a crack in a foundation that explains why the whole house feels off balance. You feel it sometimes, don't you? That nagging sense that no matter how hard you try, certain things keep pulling you back, like an invisible weight. It's your weakness showing up in everyday ways. Maybe it's that habit of second-guessing yourself or clinging to old grudges that drain your energy. Think of it like a tree with roots tangled in rocky soil. It grows, but never as tall or strong as it could. Or picture a bird trying to fly with a clipped wing. It soars a little, but always circles back to the same spot, unable to reach new heights. We've all got these spots, born from ways we've learned to navigate the world, but they're outdated now, like following a map from a different era that leads you in circles instead of forward. Reality has this incredible way of highlighting them through the connections between everything. One choice leads to another, and before you know it, a small doubt spirals into missed chances. Remember a time when everything seemed to go wrong in a row. That wasn't just bad luck. It was a world mirroring back your inner snag, showing you where the flow gets blocked. We're part of this vast network where people, events, and even thoughts are linked, like branches of a great river system feeding into the ocean. Each ripple affects the next, and your weakness is that dam you've built without realizing, holding back the natural current. Most of us live by old rules, repeating patterns that once kept us safe, but now hold us captive, like wearing shoes that are too tight but familiar, causing blisters we ignore until we can't walk anymore. But here's the shift. Seeing this weakness isn't about defeat. It's the starting point for something powerful. It's like waking up to a sunrise that reveals paths you never noticed in the dark. Paths that lead to open fields instead of dead ends. Transformation begins here when you start questioning those worn out ways and open to living differently. Coincidences start to feel like messages, guiding you toward a new understanding. Science even touches on this. How our minds create realities based on what we focus on, turning what we used to call fate into something we can shape, like how focusing on a single note can turn random sounds into a symphony. You're standing right on the edge of this, where acknowledging the flaw opens doors to strength you didn't know you had. Think about it like finding a loose thread in a sweater. Pull it gently, and the whole thing unravels, but in a good way, allowing you to knit something better, warmer, more suited to who you are now. We've only just begun to peel back the layers, but already you might sense that spark of recognition, that quiet excitement building. This weakness, it's your invitation to step into a bigger version of yourself, where the rules of consciousness make sense in simple human terms, like understanding that the wind isn't random, it carries seeds to where they need to grow. Let's keep going, because once you see how it all connects, there's no turning back. We've got more to explore about these hidden ties and how they shape everything, leading us toward that moment of real change. It's not about fixing everything at once. It's about starting with this one insight, letting it ripple out like a stone dropped in still water, touching shores you never imagined. Building right off that first glimpse into your weakness, let's dive deeper into how it all ties together, like threads in an invisible web that connects every part of your life. We've spotted the crack, that quiet flaw holding you back, but now imagine zooming out to see the whole picture. Reality isn't a bunch of isolated events. It's this living network where one thing touches another, and your weakness is like a knot in the web, pulling everything slightly out of alignment. You make a decision based on that old habit, and it echoes through your days, affecting relationships, opportunities, even how you feel when you're alone at night. Think about it through a simple story, something that could happen to any of us. There's this guy, let's say he's like you or me, who always plays it safe, avoiding risks because deep down, he doubts he's good enough. That's his weakness, that inner voice whispering, "Don't try, you'll fail." It starts small. He skips applying for a better job, sticks with a familiar routine. But then the web responds. Friends drift away because he's not growing. Work feels stagnant. And suddenly, random events pile up, like a chance meeting with someone who's thriving, making him question everything. It's not coincidence, it's the connections highlighting the snag, showing how his caution is weaving a tighter trap. We've all been there, living by those outdated inner rules, like following a recipe that's missing key ingredients, wondering why the meal never tastes right. This network is everywhere, between people, ideas, even the little moments that seem insignificant. You smile at a stranger, and it sparks a conversation that leads to a new path, or you ignore, a nagging feeling, and it snowballs into regret. Your weakness thrives in the blind spots, where we don't see how everything links up. But when you start noticing, transformation kicks in. It's like untangling a ball of yarn. Pull one thread, and the mess begins to loosen. You shift from fighting the flow to moving with it, living by fresher ways that match how things really work now. Science sheds light on this too. Think about how studies on human connections show our brains light up in sync during meaningful talks, proving we're wired for these ties, turning what felt like mystery into something tangible. Most people stick to the old paths, repeating loops that keep the weakness in charge, like driving a car with a handbrake on. You move, but it's exhausting and slow. But you're at that turning point where understanding these hidden links lets you release the brake. Coincidences become clearer, like signposts saying, "This way to freedom." It's not about becoming someone else. It's about aligning with the natural rhythm, where thoughts shape outcomes in ways that feel almost effortless. We've come from diagnosing the flaw to seeing how the web reveals it, and now we're edging toward listening to its messages. You might feel it stirring, that sense of possibility growing stronger. And as these thoughts settle in, connecting the dots in ways you hadn't before, it feels like uncovering a map that's been there all along. We're building toward activation, where this weakness flips into strength. But for now, lean into the wonder of it all. Reality is talking to you through these ties. Are you ready to listen? Technical moment. If what you're hearing right now resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. It'll show that this kind of insight is valuable. Flowing from that web of hidden ties we've been exploring, let's turn our attention to the quiet rules that guide how consciousness works, like unspoken rhythms that shape every thought and feeling you have. We've uncovered the weakness in the connections, seen how it pulls at the whole picture. But now, imagine those rules as the gentle currents beneath the surface, carrying you along whether you notice them or not. Your flaw shows up here too, in the ways you've been following outdated rhythms, like dancing to a song that's long since ended, wondering why you feel out of step with the world. Picture it this way. Consciousness operates by these natural patterns, much like the seasons changing without anyone forcing them. Spring follows winter, not because of some grand plan, but because that's how the cycle flows. Most of us stick to old patterns, habits we've picked up along the way that once made sense, but now block the natural progression. Your weakness might be resisting the change, holding on to winter's chill when spring is calling. And here's where signs come in. Those coincidences that aren't random at all. They're the world's way of whispering, like a friend tapping your shoulder to point out something you've missed. You run into an old acquaintance who says just the right thing at just the right time, or a book falls open to a page that hits home. These are signals, reality's language, for saying, look here, this is where your old rules are faltering. We often dismiss them as luck or chance, but when you start paying attention, they reveal a deeper truth. Science steps in to explain it, showing how our brains filter the world through what we expect, making what was once called magic into something as real as the air we breathe, like how focusing on gratitude can literally rewire your outlook, turning shadows into light. You're not separate from this. You're woven into it. And transformation happens when you align with these rhythms instead of fighting them. It's like learning to sail with the wind rather than against it. Suddenly the journey feels smoother, more alive. That new understanding of yourself emerges, quiet at first, like a seed breaking through soil, growing into something sturdy and true. Think of a moment from life. Someone ignores the signs, pushes through with sheer will, only to hit a wall. But when they pause, listen to that inner nudge or outer hint, doors open unexpectedly. We've all felt it, that spark when a random event shifts everything. Your weakness gets illuminated in these moments, not to shame you, but to invite growth. We're moving from seeing the web to hearing its messages, edging closer to activating real change. It's not about mastering some secret. It's about living in tune with how things naturally unfold, where consciousness expands like a river finding new paths after a rain. As these ideas connect, you might notice how they build on each other, creating a sense of momentum. The old ways fade, making room for this fresh perspective where signs become allies, guiding you to the threshold of who you could be. We've diagnosed, connected, and now we're listening, preparing to step fully into that transformation. It's all leading somewhere powerful, where understanding turns into action, and the weakness you once hid from becomes the key to your strength. Now, as we weave these threads together, from spotting your weakness in the grand web, tuning into the rules and signs of consciousness, let's step fully into what it means to activate this change, to live in a way that turns that flaw into fuel for something greater. We've journeyed through the diagnosis, the connections, the subtle messages, and here we stand at the heart of transformation. It's like reaching the summit after a long climb. The view changes everything, and suddenly the path down feels inviting, full of promise. Your weakness, that quiet holdout of old habits, isn't the end. It's the spark that ignites the shift, showing you exactly where to apply your strength. Imagine it unfolding in your own life. You notice a sign, maybe a repeated dream or an unexpected conversation, and instead of brushing it aside, you lean in. That's the activation, choosing to follow the flow rather than resist it. Consciousness works like a river, carving through stone. Over time, persistent currents reshape even the hardest barriers. We start living by these fresher rhythms, letting go of the outdated ones that kept us small. Think of it as shedding an old skin, emerging lighter, more attuned to the vast network around us. Science echoes this, revealing how consistent small changes in thought patterns can rewire our entire experience, making what felt impossible into everyday reality. No magic, just the natural mechanics of the mind at work. You're not alone in this. We're all on the threshold where understanding blossoms into action. That weakness you once saw as a burden, it becomes your teacher, guiding you to build new bridges in the web of life. Coincidences turn into deliberate steps, each one building momentum, like dominoes falling in a beautiful pattern you didn't plan, but somehow knew was coming. Transformation isn't a sudden leap. It's a series of quiet choices. Waking up and deciding to trust the signs, to connect differently with people and moments around you. We move from merely observing how reality works to participating in it, shaping outcomes with awareness that's simple yet profound. Picture someone who's been there, weighed down by self-doubt, their weakness manifesting as hesitation in every big moment. But one day, they act on a hunch, say yes to an opportunity, and the web responds. Doors open, energy flows, and what was once a struggle becomes a strength. That's available to you right now on this edge of new self-understanding. Embrace it and watch how the world mirrors back your growth with more ease, more synchronicity, more of that deep knowing that everything is linked for a reason. We've come full circle, from finding the flaw to activating the power within it. This is your invitation to live anew, aligned with the true rhythms of consciousness. If this video has shifted something in you, write in the comments, "I transform my weakness." Make it your promise. Nobody.